Morning, guys. It's Max. How's everyone doing out there? It's kind of a chilly freaking morning here. It's rainy and it's rained all night here in Austin. It's cold and chilly, so I decided to use the inside studio. Jax decided to go back to sleep. We went outside for a little while, but it was too damn cold. All right, guys, let's check out the Altiverse and let's check out Yield Max generally and Defiance and Curve and T-Spy and whatever else. All right, well, here is the Altiverse. We'll just start right here with the Altiverse. All the trades that are on now officially every one of the trades that is on is a caller. I've mentioned before the caller is a strategy that's related to a covered call. It's a covered call plus it's a put option for a hedge. It's a downside put option. So it's a similar strategy and similar return to a covered call with a little bit less risk. Okay, so he's got that strategy on every stock in this fund. He did have a call spread on Mobileye, but Mobileye is now out of the portfolio. So these are all callers, every one of these. Now, the new one in the portfolio today is DG for Dollar General. That's the new one. I would assume they have earnings. We've had a lot of retail earnings lately. Lululemon has earnings. Walmart, I think. Anyway, there's some retail earnings coming up. We'll look at the earnings calendar, but I bet that's why he's got that stock in there. Right now, the average stock in the Altiverse is up 1.5. Alti itself is up 65 bips. Freaking Foot Locker's killing it again. I hope that Dollar General doesn't turn into a Foot Locker. Now, Foot Locker's retail, it's a little bit different. I mean, Dollar General's retail also, but Foot Locker's more maybe like fashion or something because the shoe, where Dollar General's a different segment of the economy, let's just say. Well, in any event, we'll see. But everything else looks great. It's just Hims. Hims is every morning. You can rely on that. It's like the sun coming up. Hims is up every morning, just like a good boy. All right. MondoDB, that's nice. OKTA, that's nice. We have three stocks up 5%. Tell me this isn't a high freaking flying fund. I mean, there's lots of mornings. There's one or two of these stocks might be up 10%. Usually Hims is up 10%. Let's look at the chart of Hims. Hims is a male enhancement or a male healthcare, they say it's male and female healthcare. Stock all-time high, just broke out again. What's not to like? All right, well, let's see what the market generally is doing today. Look at this. SPX capped up. So when we get to the buffer report and we start talking about XDTE and QDTE, what do you want to bet they're killing it? They benefit from bullish gaps. Oh my gosh, that's a gigantic gap. And that's a gap over the old high. There's a name for that kind of gap, breakaway gap or something. Anyway, we'll see if it holds. We're gonna draw a line around it. But if it holds definitely past the end of the day or something, my gosh. We've had plenty of other bullish gaps. This isn't like the first time the market's telling you it wants to go higher. It's been saying that ever since the election. Anyway, we'll see how long this gap stays open. If this gap fails, like by this afternoon, if they're already back under that gap, that would be like extremely bearish. So we'll just see. A lot of it's open to interpretation. All right, so let's see what the NASDAQ's doing. Probably the same thing. Yeah, Jiminy criminy. Look at the NASDAQ exploding on the high of the day. Oh, my gosh. Russell, probably, look at old Russell. I wonder if the Trump trade is kind of petering out because the Trump trade was, Russell outperforming NASDAQ and crypto and stuff. And I'm not saying it's petering out, but Russell's kind of lost momentum here. We'll see who wins out. Now, let's check volatility. I think volatility is a good precursor for if the market's if the path of least resistance up or down. Anyway, this is volatility. Volatility is firmly down and trending lower. So yes, path of least resistance in the market is up right now. No shit, Sherlock, right? All right. We still have to check it every day. This is another measure of volatility. That's pretty bullish for stocks. And here's a third measure of volatility, VIX futures. And that's extremely bullish. All right. So we'll see what happens. Now let's go over here to the index buffer report, see what's going on in index buffer land. Okay, so you can see the SPY's up 35 bips right now. The best performing is XDTE. Just like I said, I predicted XDTE and QDTE would be head of the class. I don't know about QDTE, but anyway, yes, XDTE is head of the class. Teacher's pet today, outperforming the SPY. We'll see who's second best. T-SPY is hanging in there at second best. And then we have at third best, we have iSPY. And bringing up the rear, we have JEPI and SPY-T and, SPY-I is doing well. Anyway, it's early. It's very early. Okay, NASDAQ, AIPI is having a terrific day. FEPI's having a terrific day. Look at that. QTTT is actually winning the race of all the NASDAQ, including QDTE. QTTT people don't talk about, or triple QT people don't talk about that much, but it gets a lot of upside too. I'd say it gets as much as QDTE. They both get a lot of upside. But a lot more people have QDTE for sure. Triple QT is not real widely owned yet. I don't understand why, but it's whatever. The worst one of the bunch is QYLD. Big surprise, right? It's also the most conservative one of the bunch, so it's whatever. Okay, now look at ULTY outperforming its benchmark in Russell land. In fact, ULTY is the best of all the Russell funds. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. Maxi looks good as well, but I consider that a Bitcoin fund. That its underlying is Bitcoin, BITO. Look at Riser looking good. Riser's going to be good Riser's good if interest rates rise or if inflation rises. Well, usually inflation and interest rates rise together. Not always, but they can sometimes. All right. Well, that looks pretty good. Let's look at these single stock buffer reports. Snowy killing it, getting about 90% of the upside. Sky getting about 60%. Look at Misty catching almost all the upside. NVDY catching about 3/4. Now we have ULTY outperforming. We've already spoken about. Zomo's catching pretty much all the downside of ExxonMobil, unfortunately. We haven't spoken about USO today, and I'm sorry. I know I have USO fans in the audience, or USOY is a Defiance fund that's based on USO. Well, oil looked like it was breaking out yesterday. I mean, it did, but then since yesterday, it's gone sideways. Oil broke out of the Bollinger Bands yesterday morning, but it did that last week also, and then kind of petered out and reverted back to the mean, which kind of looks like that's what it's doing again today. So we'll follow oil, of course. I need to remember to start to keep looking at that. All right, here's the weightings for SOXY. I made a video on SOXY, but no one watched it. Only like 200 people watched it. It wasn't a great video, so you weren't missing anything. But, it's a yield max fund. I thought people might be interested in it, but the fact that it only pays 12%, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, the best fund out there, if someone stuck a gun to my head, made me put all my money in any one of these ETFs, it'd be JEPQ. If I had to put all my money in any one of them, or JEPI, JEPQ, something like that. Well, those pay, those don't even pay 12%, and they're still great funds. It can be a great fund and pay 8, 12, 14, 16%. Has, different ETFs have different jobs in my portfolio. Not every ETF you buy has to, I mean, or this, a lot of people act like every ETF you buy has to outperform the SPY, and that's not the case. You get ETFs for different jobs. Some of them, you know, they aren't going to outperform the SPY when you get them, but you're getting them for a different reason. All right. Well, I'll make more content. I'll elaborate on that thought later. I appreciate you all for being here. You have a good day.